Ahoy, fellow infectious diseases.
And welcome aboard the Joy of Trek, a sweaty podcast exploring the cultural faux pas and derelict ships of Star Trek, all of it. I'm Cocky.
I'm Kay.
And going Ripley on some aliens is your chief engineer, Greg.
Together, we're on a mission through the Jeffrey tubes of Star Trek to find the fly in every neck and the excellence in every episode.
Even the late 90s CGI.
Because every episode must be someone's favorite, and it might as well be us.
So bomb your own ship and join us as we roll into the Joy of Trek. Woo!
Wow, this is amazing. Like, the Chief hit on a lot of points there right in our opening script, which I very much sympathize with, and I actually have a few of those written as notes in
Excellent, excellent. We're doing Macrocosm, everyone. Voyager, what was it?
So Season 3, Episode 12.
First aired December 11th, 1996. Yeah, late 90s, just about.
Yeah.
Written by Brannon Braga and directed by Alexander Singer.
I kind of want to see our chief engineer in a tight tank top with a big gun now.
Just for funsies, or like?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be a great look.
Yeah. So,
I'm
yes.
sure a lot of people have cosplayed like Ellen Ripley, Janeway, right?
Probably, yes. I mean, yeah. It was like literally what I got written down here. It's like Janeway goes for Ellen Ripley. So
I've worn tank tops before, and I just gotta say, I have just not enough like chest and arm strength for it to look any good, and I'm so pale. It's not a great look for me. However, if you just search Janeway Macrocosm cosplay, you will find from Las Vegas Star Trek experience in 2022 a fantastic Voyager Macrocosm cosplay that's just amazing. Go look at it. It's going to be in the show notes as well because it's just so cool.
What was this episode about? Now, for those of us who may not have seen it.
Oh, right. In a misguided attempt to introduce elements from the Magic School Bus, Miss Frizzle, Captain Janeway, has to go and fight a macrovirus. Yes, a big three-tentacled floating boys.
Chief, please, can you tell us what actually happened for those of us who maybe haven't seen it?
Voyager answers a call for help from a mining colony about a viral outbreak that manages to sneak onto Voyager through the transporter, leaving only Janeway and the Doctor to stop it.
Thank you, Chief. And stand by, because I think this is pretty much how Kay's going to keep on doing it.
Well,
accurate but useless. No, I love it. I do kind of love it. But we've got Chief for standing by. Actually, that's kind of nice, because then Chief also gets to talk at the beginning.
Yes, totally.
You said like I'm not already chiming in where I need to, or just correcting you guys when you get things wrong about alien lore, because I know this stuff really well, and you guys are talking about alien, and I'm not here to. No, this isn't fair. No.
So let's see. The Gamer ranked as one of the top 25 creepiest episode of all Star Trek.
Ooh.
Let's see, especially with the fly-like viruses.
The buzzing.
Screen Rant in 2019 declared Macrocosm as having one of the top 5 best moment episodes for for Janeway, calling it a harrowing episode, noting how Janeway must battle to take her ship back against the alien presence.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Gizmodo in 2020 depicted Macrocosm as a way for Star Trek to do Alien on a UPN budget.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I do recall
well received, I would say.
Brannon Braga saying that we weren't specifically trying to do Alien, humph,
but it kind of ended up like that.
It kind of does. There's a few things I noticed. I mean, honestly, like Alien is just a very, very good monster movie. You know, a slasher / monster movie, and yes. Aliens famously has a female action hero in a tank top, so those are some certainly sweaty, very, very easy.
Have you ever been mistaken for a man?
Have you? Oh, Sigourney.
Oh, that wasn't Sigourney. That was the little Puerto Rican or Latina like.
Vasquez.
Vasquez, yes, that's the one.
That's right. Well, she's bantering with the other squaddies.
Yes.
So not to split hairs too much here, but it wasn't a tank top, but Sigourney was just in her skivvies at the finale of the first Alien movie. So she was already in that kind of look to begin with, and really sweaty from that already. So that was already like in there already. Just gotta say that.
Oh.
So, I guess we are
we have one more person who has an opinion about it, and that's the person who recommended to it.
How could I forget?
Hey, I forget it all the time, okay? Like, it's not like we've done this by now
50 times?
50 times? Have
Something
we been
like
doing
that?
this 50 times?
I don't know. Let me have a quick look, see which episode this is. This is, 49, actually.
Oh, almost. Well, we should do something special next week.
Yes.
Narrator, they were definitely about to forget. Like, they would forget 5 minutes after recording and nothing special would happen next week, don't we? Or will it? Find out next week. But first, this recommendation came from Alex Russet, who said, I have a soft spot for this episode. It's a wonderfully bonkers, off-the-wall concept pulled off in a fun way. Damn right, Alex. Flying viruses as big as your head? Why not? Trek's done crazier. Yes, also very true. And plus, it features Janeway going full Ellen Ripley. What's not to love? Yeah, absolutely. Look, what more do you need from a recommendation than just this bonkers list of everything that's weird and wild about it? Now, I read about Brannon Braga, who wrote this episode, also previously wrote Genesis, which also features the captain coming back to find a ship derelict.
Oh, yes.
In that case, Next Generation, and the crew, like, overcome with some alien virus that they couldn't understand as a bit of a monster movie. So that's it's something that he's reached for before. But he actually wanted to sort of challenge himself. Let's see if it was possible to write an episode with no dialogue at all.
Right.
Turned out to be impossible.
Yes, I can see how that would. I mean, it would be possible, but I'm not sure it would be a good episode.
Oh, I just had a flashback to, do you remember Space Above and Beyond?
Yes.
Actually, that was on this year, 1996, that this came out. Space Above and Beyond came out. And there was an episode called Who Watches the Watcher?
Yes.
Where Coop, the in vitro Marine, is sent out on a mission. The rest of his team is killed, and he's got an injury somewhere in his head.
Yeah.
And he starts seeing visions of this diseased, sexy woman that's like a manifestation of death.
Yes.
And getting flashbacks to his youth in the sort of indoctrination camp.
Right.
And aside from those flashbacks, there is indeed no dialogue there at all.
Nice.
It's a very good episode.
I can't. It doesn't. I mean,
it's called Who Monitors the Birds?
Oh, okay. I was going to say I've seen all of that several times over, and I, for some reason, can't remember this episode. But
Whoa. Well, maybe that'll be our wild card. Hey, wild card would be extra appropriate since the 5/8 are known as the wild card in one of our upcoming Patreon episodes. But we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, shall we warp into our episode?
Right. Well, do we have any warp cores?
I mean, viruses don't work that way, but
I was going to say, if anything, I was going to say the pseudo-tech babble is worse than usual. That's about the only thing that I can...
But don't you think it kind of cancels out?
What? What do you mean?
It's not an attempt to give a scientific justification for something ridiculous that fails.
No. It's more the surrounding stuff that I have issues with. So, like, let's see what I've got written down. Okay, this is just about the decor. We'll get to that when we get to it.
Okay. This is just some doodles.
Okay, other than the fact, where are these viruses getting the biomass to grow the way they do? There's also the bit where they get caught by the transporter biofilter, and then they move from the filter into the buffer, and then from the buffer into another system. And at which point are they actually materialized?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they...
I mean, you can ask me again when we get there. They'll look at the jeeps, and maybe I'll come up with something.
Then they crawl through the TCP/IP connection, and climb into the biogel filter, the biopack.
Yeah, I think you solved it, Kay. I'm convinced.
Yes, I'm not.
Thank you for sort of retconning that for me, because now we can all sort of warp into, here we go. Okay, and we begin with a scene that... Okay, I've got the sound effects working now, hopefully as soon as I press this, but you're really missing a visual component. Here goes.
Good health, strong body, clear mind.
And we're going to do the poses.
Your hospitality, your generosity, your
Everybody's
patience.
Vogue at home.
Many thanks.
Because that's what they're doing.
Yes.
My colleagues' behavior, our apologies.
Consul, I assure you I intend to...
Please make her quiet.
Captain, please.
And immediately, look, his body language changes. Because what we're facing here is the tail end of what could have been a very troublesome diplomatic incident.
Yes.
With a tac-tac consul who's standing there just voguing, just miming.
Pretty much, yeah. He does like hands like crossing like the forehead, like touch the little arms down to the side. Like half the time he's not even facing the person that he's talking to.
Yeah.
Because apparently she has committed the grave faux pas of putting her hands on her hips, which apparently is a grave insulting tac-tac culture.
Which, You wonder why it doesn't happen more often.
Yes, you do.
Right? Like I learned that the people in Orlando tend to point with 2 fingers because that's how Disney personnel gets trained to do it.
Either 2 fingers or the whole hand.
Yeah, because those are safe gestures that aren't offensive to anyone. Also, I wonder if they do waving with the open palm because the bras main, the fat hand is kind of a talk to the hand, suck it kind of gesture in a lot of cultures as well.
As opposed to how would you wave with your?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But waving is also culturally sensitive, or waving someone toward you, like in Italy, I believe the case is, come toward me with your fingers pointing up is respectful. When it's children, you sort of fingers down, and it's like you're scooping them toward you.
Okay.
Which you can also do as to cause offense, or Shakespeare, I bite my thumb at thee.
Yeah.
as a terrible gesture. What is it in Japan? Pulling your eyelid down and showing your eyeball.
Oh.
Tongue sticking out, obviously. Like all those gestures have. Oh, what you're doing right now, scratching your neck, could be misinterpreted as sort of flicking from your chin forward.
That's an Italian or a Spanish thing, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Why doesn't this happen all the time? And why doesn't a diplomat like Janeway get trained like hands in pockets, eyes to chin?
Hands in your pockets can also be offensive.
But if that's how you start, then at least that's how these aliens just do it all the time and nothing changes throughout.
Right.
But yeah, there's cultures. I mean, I don't recall where the person was from, but I had a conversation with someone who was from somewhere where you don't make eye contact with someone that you respect.
Okay, yes.
Right? So you focus on the mouth, you focus on eye contact has a different meaning.
Yeah, it's confrontational.
I guess. I mean, I don't know the origin there. It's just weird for me as a Western European. I'm used to making eye contact as a form of respect. You usually think this would happen more often, but Neelix has a flair for it.
He does, yes. He knows it very well. He either he picks up on the gesturing or he already knows how this works with the tac-tac. Apparently not enough to have warned Janeway about hands on hips.
It seemed maybe it was sort of an intuition thing. Like he opines that...
It seemed like more than just a language to me, Captain. A lot of their gestures, from what I could tell, were ritualistic. You might even say superstitious.
Yeah,
well, so,
nothing is ever done with that observation.
No, but you can imagine that his life experience prepared him better to sort of intuit what gestures would be okay and wouldn't be okay. He's native to this quadrant, which doesn't really help you with a lot of very different cultures that grew up on other planets, but there may be some commonalities here.
So, especially in this shuttle shot, yes, of late 90s CGI, it's never really jumped out to me in Voyager how I mean, it looks like cheap CGI. It's like
where
the shuttle, the outside view of the shuttle, it just looks.
Oh yes,
I guess it's because it's too well lit. It looks very artificial. I guess very toy model.
Well, okay, there's something difficult because they were trying to they weren't trying to make it look like a realistic spaceship. They were trying to make it look like a realistic model as would be filmed on ILM, so they would blend with the other photographed model shots, which I agree. It has some edges where you can, I don't know, you can just tell.
Yeah. Right?
And it's hard to say why. But I wonder if, because it's too perfect.
Right. Yes, that's it. It's like, it's shiny. The lighting's weird. It's just, that never really jumped out to me in Voyager at being particularly egregious. But
it was during Voyager and DS9 that CGI started really entering the picture. And I think Voyager did a lot of experimenting with it. And in particular, this episode was the first time that they spent like a huge amount of their budget on CGI. Right. And Jerry Taylor talked about it in an interview that this was kind of an experiment. Like, can we do this?
I mean, especially the viruses, like lots of that is all CGI, of course.
Yeah. So instead of, if we save money on set construction, hair and makeup, alien prosthetics, can we do it in CGI?
We only have one alien in the entire episode.
Yeah. I almost think that the tac-tac... Actually, there's two. There's also the Garan later on.
Oh, yes.
But they almost feel like... I wonder if they're reused. Oh, I don't want to
feel like off the shelf. I mean, the tac-tac, I think I've seen that whole little thing across the face before.
Specifically how the nose connects to the chin, right? Making for an anatomical construction that you don't... isn't very conducive to eating.
No, it looks inconvenient, to say the least.
And we've had aliens like that before on Star Trek. But maybe they just do it differently. The thing that's jumped out at me in the shuttle scene is how dark it is.
Yes. A lot of it is.
I mean, setting the scene, right?
Yeah. It's a nice little chat between Janeway and Neelix where she mainly expresses her appreciation for him.
You have a genuine flair for diplomacy, Mr. Neelix.
and even considers promoting him to ambassador. And she actually calls him that later on.
Ambassador Neelix.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, he doesn't like the sound of beeping that comes immediately after because...
No. Well, that's just the proximity alert, I guess, or the countdown timer till we get to our destination. Because at the rendezvous point, what do they find? No Voyager.
No.
Rather than having already started scanning ahead, at this point they start doing long-range scans and see that the Voyager is about a light year away, and they make great haste to see towards Voyager because it's not responding to any hails.
We get this really good shot, I think, of Voyager just sort of hanging there and the shuttle approaching them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about this shot that's so, like, menacing, but Voyager, like, it looks a little dangerous. It looks, I don't know. I think it's maybe because we're seeing it from above and you can just sort of barely see the deflector dish, but it's all cast in shadow. It's very sinister.
Yes.
Awful lot of lights on, visible from the outside,
Yes.
considering how dark it is on the inside.
Also, very lot lack of precaution because, like,
There's some kind of bioelectric interference. I can't get clear life sign readings. The escape pods are all in place, and there's no indication of any recent transporter activity.
ships might be completely abandoned.
Yeah, the
let's
bioelectric
just-
interference.
Let's just like walk straight in without any, protective measures.
Yeah, well, do I raise shields for this? Yeah, I raise shields for this. Come on. Like, I've complained about this previously, that helmets, jackets, outfits, just gloves, rope, just all these basic things that should be part of your uniform, let alone your away mission gear. But, okay, we don't do that here.
They whisper their way through the corridors, which I thought was rather amusing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because they're talking really quietly. So I guess because even though there's nothing there, we must be quiet in case something is there.
Same problem. The main computer's offline, so is the comm system.
So yes, they're starting to come to the conclusion that everything was abandoned at great haste. And I've not seen this before, so I was like sitting there wondering, okay, which way this was going to go,
Ooh, what were you thinking?
I wasn't sure. I thought, like with Macrocosm, I thought it would have been turned. Maybe the crew got shrunk down or something, or something like that was going on. So I was.
Kay, you have to warn me when this happens. It's so precious. Come on, this is amazing. Because now I want to know everything about, like, what did you sort of anticipate? Okay, so you thought it might be, what was it, Land of the Giants?
Something like that.
Yeah,
maybe
inner
like
space?
inner space. That's more the direction that my thoughts were going towards.
A really little ship, like a really, really, really little ship.
Went on a little trip.
A really, really, really little trip. Like, not enough to go through the saloon doors at the bottom of the plasma junction. No, you've got to fly up the aorta and then, okay, we're going to
Exactly.
flying parallel to the primitive primary ganglion.
Oh God, have you been watching House again?
No, I've been watching Lex, actually.
So yes, so they're finding a comm signal, which turns out to be a red herring because that's just the Good Morning Sunshine on Voyager.
Yeah.
Sorry, Good
According to
Morning.
the time index, she activated this program approximately 11 hours ago.
So this gives them some clues as to what people were doing. Because this is Ensign Wildman's room, and she has been delivered of
Yes.
the infant Naomi. At this point, a baby. You see a playmat with some toys on the ground.
Who's the father?
Still in the Alpha Quadrant.
Ah,
I think Ensign Wildman is human, and the father was a species called Catarian, which made the birth a little bit difficult because Catarians have anatomical features like forehead spikes that are quite inconvenient
yes.
for human birth.
I can imagine that would be a problem. Yes.
Although, actually, now I think of it, oh, wait, there was a duplication at one point.
Mhm.
Voyager got duplicated, and two people from one went to the other. I mean, it wasn't a case where there was an original or whatever.
Right.
One of them was Harry, I almost said Harry Potter, Harry Kim. Ooh, I wonder how appropriate that is.
I think you mentioned about that at some point in the past.
Because on the one ship, Harry and the infant Naomi had perished, and on the other one, they'd survived.
Right. And one
so-
ship had to be sacrificed, and then so those two went over and like replenished the crew.
Yeah.
Huh.
But so this is not the baby that this Ensign Wildman gave birth to.
No.
But, the duplication was only hours apart, so I'm sure it's fine. I like that Neelix has his own Good Morning Voyager program.
Yes. Well, he is the morale officer, so
Yeah. there was even a surprising amount of detail about that on Memory Alpha. I really want to just sort of hit the brakes here and talk about that. Normally, Memory Alpha is a font of fantastic trivia, along with IMDb and TV tropes and Trek core, like really, really wonderful, including some esoterica. But this got real esoteric, where there's like a whole page of 5 multi-paragraph bullet points that are about where people were walking and what they were doing
when the virus attacked.
No, when they were being interviewed by James someone from the magazine Cine Fantastique. And it's got like, so Tim Ross left the sound stages to go outside for a breather and a snack on an apple. And then he was interviewed, and immediately after that, Robert Beltran walked from this door into that one. I'm like reading this, what? Why is this here?
Right, yeah. Maybe.
It's an awful level of detail.
Yeah, weird. Also interesting is that apparently you can tell how long food has been synthesized based on the protein degradation. Protein decay.
I wonder if that's something for replicated food or all food.
Well, it's specifically mentioned that it was replicated
Oh,
here.
yes, you're right. It says.
According to the protein decay, I'd say Ensign Wildman replicated this 11 hours ago.
They get the first glimpse of the alien, or its shadow at least. The shadow.
Oh, you see something whoop just around the corner. Ooh, I wonder what that was. In a GIF that unfortunately sort of got. They don't always work out. Okay, sometimes they're just these like animated characters wibbly wobbling their arms, and sometimes it's a little strobe shadow. You kind of have to deal with it. There's a ominous buzzing. Ooh, I did not like that buzzing.
No. Oh, what did that remind me of? Oh, a little bit of the... Is that the buzzing? Was that in Men in Black? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
The bug alien who does...
It's not ringing a bell. Because the bug alien is more like cockroaches.
Right.
In the first film, where he's played by Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yes.
In an Egger suit.
Yes.
I'm looking for something that belonged to a friend of mine. A pet cat. It really means the world to me.
Yes. Oh, gosh.
You know, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
But, the sound is coming from a dead end. There's no way that it can escape. Good. We're going to find out something. And they head into the transporter room. And
it's basically molten its way through one of the transporter pads, which apparently has nothing underneath it except a Jeffries tube.
Yep, leaving behind...
mucilaginous compound.
I'd have figured that there would be loads of equipment underneath those. I mean...
You'd think, right?
A Heisenberg compensator or two, and, who knows what else. But yes, it is, again, mucilaginous compound.
Mucilaginous compound.
Also,
mucilaginous compound.
That's what it is.
Mucilaginous compound. Also identified by B'Elanna as... I don't even know what mucilaginous means. Does
So
mucus like mucus?
Not quite. Mucilage is something produced by plants and some single-celled organisms.
Right.
As a way to, like, trap or transport food or propel themselves.
Right.
Like algae do that. But it's a really weird thing to be able to identify from the outside.
Well,
because
that's what your tricorder's for, right?
Right. But it does get weird when
these days we have these apps on our phone that you point at the flower and it tells you what kind of plant it is.
That's true.
And so tricorders do that for pretty much anything, I suppose.
That's true. But B'Elanna wasn't holding a tricorder when she looked at a bag full of it, and she just said, here's a bag full of some sort of mucilaginous compound.
Yes.
Okay, weird. Anyway, this reminded me of, I think it's Alien Resurrection, where at one point on the spaceship Auriga, where they're doing experiments with the xenomorph aliens, 2 of them have been trapped, and at one point, or 3 of them are trapped together in a like experimentation room, and 2 of them turn on the 3rd for no apparent reason. Tear it to shreds using its acidic blood to melt a hole through their cell.
Yeah.
That's what this looked like.
It does, yes. It's definitely trying to get those kinds of images in the viewer's head, I would say.
Because the rest of the room is all dark, and the computers are fritzing and down, and they can't really do much.
I saw you nod with approval when Janeway mentioned that, now that life support is going down, the ship is going to get hotter rather than colder.
Yes, here we go.
When environmental controls fail, heat from the warp plasma conduits can't be vented.
That's how it works.
Yes.
That's how it works. It gets hotter and hotter, also an excuse to get everyone sweaty. And it's a nice opportunity in a scene that's filmed in a really interesting sort of handheld style.
Oh, yeah, there's lots of that.
Mm-hmm. And Neelix and Janeway are kind of bonding over their shared experiences.
Yes.
In the hot, humid summers in Indiana and Rhinax. And
yeah, Neelix is doing one of his little... I don't know, are they just like him trying to be sound interesting? Are they boasts? Are they him just trying to like show off how cosmopolitan he is, because he's always going on about like when he was living there or doing that, and then
interesting. Well, oh no, I was going to say the charitable interpretation, but I think this is actually true for Neelix as a person who is both like insecure and an introvert, but also like deeply likes other people. I think this is how he opens communications channels. Right. I'm going to tell a story about myself, and that's an opportunity for you to recognize things or whatever, instead of being nosy. Yeah. Now, of course, asking people about things that they're interested in is also a really good strategy if you want to build that kind of relationship. But so, you know, I think you're right that it does become a bit of a measuring contest. Because Indiana, according to Janeway, is also pretty bad.
Yes.
Except that we had 3 suns, and the lava flies grew to be 6 centimeters long.
Yes.
Now, I think this chief...
6 centimeters.
It's going to get
probably
gonna get a bit of mileage, yes.
Yeah.
So while they're on the turbo lift, suddenly the turbo lift is blocked by something in the lift shaft, which penetrates through the lift cabin and
squirts.
It slimes Neelix basically
real bad, just in the chest, and he gets it's this weird sort of injector that comes in, and
they're doing a really great job here at like teasing with the monster rather than showing them.
Yes. Which is how like a good like monster or horror.
Absolutely,
like,
yes.
It should be. You should tease a bit and warm up. You can take it too far. I mean, some people complain that Jurassic Park takes it too far and does too much teasing. So by the time you get there, you're actually kind of maybe a little bit over it.
Right.
I feel like you've been over-teased.
Possible, yeah. So, he gets zapped. They go on a crawl through the Jeffries tubes. And now they find human life signs for the first time.
Yeah.
Or human bio readings, whatever.
It's a few decks up, though, because they weren't able to complete their turbolift jaunt. They had to climb up. And, God, there's all these shots from above and from below, like giving a real dimensionality to the ship.
It gives you a really good feel of the ship. In general, you get some very interesting angles that you don't normally get to see.
Yes.
Specifically a little bit later when Janeway makes it onto the bridge and you get this handheld tracked shot of her as she's creeping over the... You get this view of the bridge that you rarely ever get to see.
Yeah.
Like basically how people see it as they themselves walk across it rather than as we are... as we get to look at the actors performing.
Yeah, because we, as the viewer, normally stand with our back to the view screen.
Yes.
Right, but we see the actors in a way that the characters never see one another.
So, Neelix is starting to succumb to, apparently he got infected by this virus thing when he got slimed. Janeway goes off a few decks up to get an emergency med kit, and that's the last time we see Neelix in this episode.
Yes, because by the time she comes back for him, he's already heard some buzzing. Oh no,
and they're screaming, Captain, help me! And she hurries down, and there is just more goop on the floor, and Neelix is gone.
And the Camp Wanahockaloogie killer strikes again and has captured these teenagers for the mortal sin of premarital sex.
Yes, I guess that's right.
if we're going for a slasher, that's what I'm looking for. It's kind of a slasher,
well, this is when now it starts to go full alien because we get like and you see a lot of this stuff where.
I'm sorry, but if you were on the page with my Jeeves, with my diabolical new machine,
yes,
you'd see that something has gone wrong here.
Okay,
and that like at one point she says, "I'm coming, Neelix." Ooh, and yeah. This subtitle then continues over every Jeef for the next 5 minutes.
Oh.
Because she doesn't say anything else, but something went wrong with the technology.
I see,
so,
yes.
Okay, yes, she goes climbing up the stairs, yelling, I'm coming, Neelix. She looks around the door, yelling, I'm coming, Neelix. We see the outside of Voyager, and in the void of space, I'm coming, Neelix.
Because, this is where they do the whole, let's see how long we can run this episode without having any dialogue in it.
Exactly.
Because it's her going to engineering, opening...
I'm coming, Neelix.
Please continue. I'm just providing sound effects. So what else does she do?
She opens her big box of toys.
I'm coming, Neelix.
Oh, that was bad timing. I didn't mean that. Just as she was opening her toy box.
I know, right?
Okay, what else does she do?
That's when she starts to strip.
I'm coming, Neelix.
Get her bag, get her, like, plasma grenades, photon grenades, I believe they're called.
Sure.
I mean, that's what we learned in...
in Prodigy. That's true.
Prodigy. And they look kind of similar to her. And she gets her favorite gun. I mean,
I'm coming, natives!
I noticed...
Someone take this away from me and give it back to Chief Greg.
I noticed that she has a fondness for the big phaser rifles rather than the little handheld phasers.
Oh, that started here. This is the first appearance of the non-compression phaser rifle on Voyager. It's beautiful.
Because it's even bigger than the ones that they use on Enterprise.
I'm coming, natives!
Sorry. I'm really sorry, but
No, you're fucking
I can't
not.
stop now. I love this shot in engineering because the whole time we see Janeway, like, I'm sure that this is not, perfect. Oh, what's it called? How are you supposed to move as a military person?
Right,
Covering
yeah,
exit.
Yeah. I don't think there's a particular word for it, but it's tactical movements, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
There are angles you want to clear certain areas so that you know where it's safe to turn your back, and she's constantly like turning around. But it's also a very complicated space, and you have a mobile adversary that you don't quite know how it works yet. So she's just
generally speaking, keep your back against the wall. I think, of course, that limits your escape routes, but
right. And there might be something in the walls for all we know.
True.
So she does all these like crazy Ivans, but it never looks purely performative.
No.
It looks like she's actually like thinking about what's over here.
Basically, it kind of looks like the way someone is creeping through a laser quest arena.
That's exactly it. That's amazing. And even when she's found what she needs, well, you see her in this state of vulnerability. She's found this footlocker up on the upper level, the warp core behind her. But you see her like constantly looking over her shoulder.
It's one of the 17 weapons lockers that are on the ship.
And she has to open it up. And she knows that, like, as long as she's not looking at the space behind her, she's vulnerable to it.
Yeah.
She's got stuff to do. So she's taking that risk, takes off her uniform, the jacket and the undershirt, and then it turns out to be an extra undershirt under there.
The tank top, yeah.
Yay.
That does remember to put her communicator back on there and makes her way for the bridge.
Yeah.
Where there is also signs. She starts to send off a general distress call.
Yeah.
Captain Catherine Janeway of the Federation starship Voyager to anyone within range. My ship has been seized by unknown life forms. Require any and all assistance.
That's it. Very simple.
Yeah.
And then she turns back to the bridge. Now, at the same time, we get some shots from inside the bridge, like extra wide.
We hear the little buzzy thing, and it's like kind of
And
like, okay, we're definitely getting to see the alien attack now, right? And like now she's being stalked by the monster, and it's coming closer.
And when she turns around, it actually backs off. Backs off, and then she turns back to the screen, and it comes closer again. It's really well done.
And there's more buzzing, and then it turns out like, ow! She slaps her hand. There's a little squishy thing that she had that just bit her.
Yep.
She does the little blue lighty shiny thing on it, and everything is well, that's a bit of an anticlimax there. Very well played.
Yeah.
No, I generally have that as well. I want to comment that I love how they do the horror flick type thing. They play that so very well.
Of it.
Yeah.
You have to do the fake out early on.
Right. Yes, but it's not really a fake out.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's part of the sort of ritual of escalating peril as our heroes also increase their capability. So she's sweaty. She's walking through all these hallways. There's a gorgeous shot as she gets to the mess hall, which is where these life signs are coming from. She flips up her rifle to take a sort of corner, thereby illuminating her chin. We see the camera moving around her, glimpsing through the open door. We see the people in the mess hall before she's able to, she charges in. It's so good, Kay.
Yeah, she pokes her rifle through and then sees that everybody's in order. Well, is there. Kim is kind of groaning and non-responsive.
Yeah.
Chakotay is the same.
How many times has he been diseased and nearly dead or actually dead or replaced and dead? It happens a lot to poor Harry Kim.
Well, in this case, it happens to everybody. So, it's excused.
Okay, so I do not think this is a comprehensive list. However, Kim has died on screen at least 4 times and was sick with something 4 times, maybe 5, depending on how you want to count it. So this has happened to him a lot.
And she sees this weird little thing on Chakotay's neck. It looks a little bit gross, a little bit like a wound, like an open wound, and there's little bugs crawling out of it, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, it looked a bit like the game port in Existence.
A little bit, yeah.
But we don't have to wait too long.
Let me lube up your game port.
Oh, yeah.
Because now we get our first good look at the alien, because there's a little, tentacle. It's about the size of your head. It's kind of like a teardrop shaped with 3 tentacles and this nasty big stinger.
Right in the middle.
Right in the bottom, yes.
So apparently that design was based on an organism called diatom. It's a type of infectious organism, but they tend to be like really smooth and geometric because they're microscopic, of course.
Right, yes.
And so that was scaled up, but yes, I mean, do we actually need to?
I say we eject the warp core.
You don't like they're not even single-celled organisms or viruses. Like they're not even known to technically be alive.
No.
They don't have their own reproductive
they're just
system.
bits of RNA, aren't they?
Yeah, with an injection system.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's the wonderful thing about the universe. When you create a definition for anything, you'll probably eventually find something that kind of skirts it.
Yes.
And, like, we have this thing for life. Like, replication is a really important thing. Nothing else does, like, targeted replication or influences environments, except viruses kind of do. So what are you supposed to do with it? I don't know. But they don't have anatomical structures like grabbers. They don't have muscles inside. They've got, chemical processes and maybe some fluid processes.
True. And but they scale up. They found a way into the macrosphere. The Doctor has an explanation for it later.
I know. But then, you need muscles and you need, in the same way that if you just straight up scale an ant, wouldn't be able to work.
No.
Right? Wouldn't be able to breathe, wouldn't be able to move.
Also, how's it flying?
Yeah. Actually, why didn't we?
It's airborne. It's an airborne virus, so therefore it can fly, because otherwise it wouldn't be an airborne virus.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I say we eject the warp core.
Yeah, that's really good, Kay. Why the f*** is it flying?
That's how airborne viri work, isn't it?
Oh, good plural there. So one of them attacks Janeway. This is the brilliant sort of fake out. We just saw the little fly. We were focusing on Chakotay's neck, and we have these gross little flies come out of his neck.
Yeah.
And while Janeway is gasping, a giant fucking super virus, macrovirus, comes over her shoulder and attacks her.
She blasts it out of the sky with her phaser rifle.
Yep. Oh, the producers talked about they took a day out to shoot some of these elements.
Yeah.
So they went out on the back lot. They took all of these sculptures of macroviruses and filmed them with all sorts of gunk.
And different angles and,
And just like this one filled with slime and that one filled with tripe and just had fun all day just blowing them up. While real filming was happening in the studio, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Getting all these elements that had tremendous fun.
And then they CGI'd them in later, I guess.
Yep.
Captain, he says, after he points the phaser straight at her throat.
Needless to say, I thought you were something else.
Yeah.
Because Janeway was staggering through the corridors, trying to get away, but like she's clearly like injured. I couldn't quite tell why.
I guess she got knocked over when she was struggling, when she got attacked by the virus, when she was hunching over Chakotay, and she was turning around. The explosion of the virus knocks her into the couch or something, what it is, and
yeah. So by the time she made it to the doctor, he diagnoses that
you've ruptured your dorsal extensor muscle and bruised 2 ribs.
Bad news. He's going to have to do some quick surgery.
Also, if he thought it was something else, why did he not just shoot, but instead carefully point?
Yes. Okay. So this is another one of those shots because she's just barely made it to the door of the sick bay where she clearly needs to go, but it's locked and she has to go into her backpack to find one of those
emergency door openers. Yes.
So she's once again puts her rifle down, pointing up at her chin.
Yes.
So that by the time that the door opens and this phaser comes through, also at her chin, his hand is beautifully illuminated by the phaser. It's beautifully done.
Yes. So he gets he stitches her up.
And tells her what happened. And she keeps interrupting him. And every time you go, okay, just lie still.
Yeah.
Right?
Promise I will tell you exactly what happened if you just lie still.
There's always something a little
it's such a trope.
Flustered with the doctors, like we had Phlox escorting the guy out, out, I've tried it being subtle about it. I've tried dropping hints. Now I'm just
I also have things to do. Out.
Yes. So it turns out they got a emergency call from a local mining colony, which was infected.
They thought it was nothing major.
No. The doctor makes a good case for him being the only one who can...
Seems to be a simple virus. They say...
I don't think we'll be going anywhere.
No.
And it's nice how the doctor sort of makes the case for wanting to go along because he can do it safely and...
Besides, I've been looking forward to spreading my wings.
And that's good enough for Chakotay.
Yep. He beams down straight into the mining colony, and of course we know that because it's a mining colony, everything looks like it's in the middle of a mine. You wouldn't like you beam into the office or anything, or
in the mess.
Yeah, no, straight into a mine corridor.
Right.
That's
a really good point. They have also daycare there.
Also have a very peculiar choice of light bulbs for a mine, but
Oh yes,
it looks like bloody track lighting. It is bloody track lighting. It's.
Well, we don't know what the Garans or the Garanites or whatever they're called again are doing. I mean, it's one of the very few things that the Doctor doesn't mention as he's giving a sort of a running tally of everything that happens, because that's what's recommended in the manual.
Right, exactly. There's in situations like this, an open comm channel is to be maintained, and he is literally giving a running commentary until...
Cavern illumination is minimal, but shouldn't pose a problem for my optical sensors.
Also, the illumination is by no means minimal. There is 6 tracks light on either side, and it's very well lit, actually.
Yeah, and for some reason you turned on your holographic wrist lights, which is because you're a hologram.
Yes.
Your lights are also holograms. So
yes.
What is your UI?
Well, that's what they say, Even in computer games, the lights run on real electricity.
Wait. Oh, no, okay, that's true, but so do the shadows.
I know, right? But still,
Oh, wait, no, maybe it's like in Dr. Chaotica rules.
What's that?
Well, do you remember when the ship lost power, the holographic representation of Voyager loses power, so the lights go out on Voyager. They also go out on Chaotica ship, but the ship still exists for
because the holodeck clearly still functioning, so why do the lights have to go out? Right. Yes.
He finds a Garan, or a miner,
yes,
who is not doing very well, and pays very little attention to him after noticing that, this is pretty severe, but there's nothing I can do.
Can you treat him?
Not without a more specialized immunizing agent.
So you can't administer fluids? You can't do pain management?
No, he also sees the little thing on the neck with the virus coming out of it, and the Doctor immediately recognizes it as a new life form.
Oh, yeah. This can't be, he says, staring at his...
macroscopic version of the virus. Can I please bring it home? It followed me home. Can I please take it home?
Please keep it. I promise I'll take care of it. I'll clean up after it. I'll be responsible, unlike all the other times.
But Chakotay goes like, no. Doctor whines a little bit more about it.
Commander, permission to beam the virus aboard for further analysis.
No, the virus isn't in our database. The biofilters might not recognize it.
Okay, biofilters.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants to beam it aboard.
Yeah.
But the biofilters might not recognize it. What would the biofilters do if they did recognize it?
Well, they put it in the transport buffer, and then they let it escape to other parts of the ship.
Ideally, they would neglect to beam up that virus.
Remember what we talked about last week? It would be like, that everybody is on the Yakult treatment after they go through the biofilters at maximum setting.
But I mean... You can't beam up a virus when you have the biofilters active.
You'd think so, yeah.
So if you want to beam it up, you turn the biofilters off. So what's Chakotay actually saying here?
Oh, good point, yes.
We don't, and the Doctor should say, no, I don't need the biofilters.
Yes,
I want the virus into a container.
Yes. There's a little bit of argumentation about what precautions can and should be put in place until Chakotay puts his foot down and says, no, not happening. They're interrupted by another alien coming. It's like, please help us. And the Doctor is like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. No can do. Not getting permission for this.
And it never comes back up again.
No.
These miners just fucking die. This planet...
No, even worse, the Tac-Tacs killed them.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. They come back and purify. That's right. Hey, glad one of us is paying attention. So, yes, in probably one of the least excellent, I won't say stupidest, description of a procedure being poorly followed, the Doctor is beamed aboard, walks over to the transporter console.
Checking the
biofilters.
Yep. And what he didn't know was that...
What I didn't realize was that in the few seconds it took me to purge the filters, some of the virus had already migrated into the transporter buffer.
Makes no sense. It's a buffer. It doesn't exist. It's just like a bunch of data. It's like, how can it escape from the transport buffer where it's literally being held as data? Yeah. And, that's like...
Oh, no. Hang on. The virus arrived in physical form. It materialized.
Then it wouldn't be in the transport buffer.
No. Well, the transport buffer is also a mechanism, so...
But it's not actually physical. It's always been described as data. It's like there's no physical things in the transport buffer.
Okay, so there is a device called a buffer which contains the buffer. It's confusing. At one point you have in the 32nd century you have portable transport buffers,
right,
which you can wear. it's a device that stores the buffer, and it's called a buffer. It's confusing.
Okay.
But yes, this makes not a lot of sense, but that's totally okay because...
Oh, the reason, by the way, I just realized, is like it's going to take him 12 hours to replicate the antigen. And they figure like, yeah, we'll just like go we'll rendezvous with the captain. And once we have the antigen, we'll come back here and apply it to the miners. So that's why they leave the miners.
Oh, yeah.
So there's actually good reason. They're not just completely abandoning them. They're just going on a quick side travel. Well, we can't do anything for them while we're synthesizing the antigen. So we might as well go and meet the...
There's a way to read this that's Chakotay as a bad sort of backup manager who's sort of passing the buck because he says,
"We'll deal with this after she's aboard."
Right? I'll let the captain deal with this one. This sounds like, decision to let a lot of people die for safety. No, that's a... Sorry.
It sounds like a captain level decision.
You're going to have to wait for my manager to come back. Sorry.
Yes.
Of course, that's not the case.
I want to speak to the captain. Well,
so
captain will be back in 12 hours.
The Doctor apologizes for his overzealous behavior because he argued strongly in favor of treating these Garans and was turned down.
Compassion is nothing to be sorry about, Doctor. It won't be the last time you're faced with a moral dilemma in the field. But if it makes you feel any better, your performance was exemplary.
Kes gets one line this whole episode.
I told you he'd understand.
That's it. And this is just a really nice interaction for the Doctor. Like this is how, good management treats someone trying something new.
B'Elanna and Tom Paris get their little scene where they get to have a little bicker over the work that needs to be done.
Yeah, this reminds you that it's middle of season 3. They're having unnecessary opportunities for sexy bickering, and like what's more important is the piloting. Because Tom Paris apparently doesn't have enough jobs. Now he's also filling in as the chef, claiming that he's actually a very good chef.
The heating array overloaded. It incinerated a 12-kilo pot roast, and all the food replicators went offline.
Looks delicious.
What he's holding in his hand, that charred remains, if that was originally 12 kilo, good gravy.
Well, did your birthday cake weigh the same after it came out of the oven?
Okay. You know that I can't be embarrassed about this.
I know.
Because for the listeners at home, there was a younger version of Arkaki who held a little party for New Year's, which is also his birthday, while his mother was away, and wanted to bake a cake in our combination microwave oven. And for that hour, it wasn't set to 200 degrees. It was set to 800 watts.
Yes, I've done a similar thing with those little bake-off breads that you occasionally... Yes. The entire house smelled like burnt bread for 3 weeks. So,
I mean, you didn't have like a thick rubbery film of smoke clinging to the ceiling of the, kitchen.
We did. Oh, yes, we did.
Also as well.
It was about a 30 centimeters thick layer of yellow smoke.
That's right.
Came bellowing out of the microwave when I popped it open, and inside there were 2 charcoal lumps of the...
Now, if you'd had the courage of young Kaki, then you would have noticed that, since this model of microwave doesn't actually turn, there are cold spots.
Right.
There are, self-interference, and there were parts that were undercooked and parts that were just kind of perfectly succulent and moist.
No, these were literally turned into, these little bake-off breads were literally turned into 2 lumps of... Because our microwave did turn, so yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, unfortunately not. We kept it as a souvenir in one of their glass display cabinets for quite a few years. I don't think it'll go thrown out until I moved out of that house. So it's...
We tried to destroy ours with fireworks, which is a New Year's tradition, and it did not work. They proved indestructible.
Okay. I just need to make sure here. It's not just me who is somewhat competent with, like, cooking and baking that was just sitting here just, like, holding my face, just like, what are you doing while they're describing that, right? That's not just me. Okay, I just want to make sure that wasn't just me. Thank you everyone. All right, back to the episode.
So yes, there's a little bit of blah blah brouhaha about the the replicator, and when she opens it up, it turns out that the gel pack is infected.
As she says,
the neurodes have been burned out and the pack is filled with some kind of mucilaginous compound.
Very clever.
Just because it's blue.
Yeah.
And it's a mucilaginous compound.
Well, no, it's not blue. The gel pack is blue.
Yeah.
Because once it bursts open, then the goop that comes out is yellow.
Yeah, but then how can you tell?
I know, right?
How do you know it's a compound?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, hey, you! Don't wait for the translation. Answer me now! But yes, it bursts like a gross zit, and that's where it all went downhill. B'Elanna became infected, and soon a lot of the rest of the crew followed.
When Janeway sits up, she can tell that, like, oh, she too is now infected because that little place where she got bit is starting to look a bit poorly.
Yes.
But fortunately, the doctor has completed the antigen and is now getting its first live test on the captain. So
yeah, which he states, but she never, like, explicitly consents to.
She says, like, I'll be the guinea pig then. So that sounds as consent to me.
Looks like I'll have to be your guinea pig, Doctor.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, but in this age where we take consent very seriously, when somebody says to you...
Looks like I'll have to be your guinea pig, Doctor.
That's
sounds
not
like
the same as enthusiastic consent.
Well, it doesn't have to be enthusiastic.
Oh, God.
Besides, like, what are the options? Like, like, not give it to her and she goes out, and then everybody...
Actually, I've been in this situation. There was a sort of... I'm a photographer, and there were some people having certain grown-up fun that they wanted the photographer for, and I went along, and somebody else wanted to join. And I told them I was still photographing. Do they consent? And they said, yeah, sure. Like they said something that was not yes.
Oh, right.
And I actually stood down. Now, I need the word yes that you understand, even if it's verbal.
Yeah.
Sort of spoils the mood maybe for a little bit, but no, it's a necessary part of...
Totally. More flashbacks to how the virus is spreading throughout the ship.
Yes, they were trying to contain, quarantine the outbreak to just the people who were in the mess hall. Not doing any contact tracing, by the way.
No.
Like anyone who's been in the mess hall or eaten any food there in the last hour.
Yeah. The doctor has managed to catch one. It catches a tiny little thing, puts it in a little container.
It's adorable.
And then it gets carted off to the microscope. And this is actually
she gets more lines. Yeah, I was wrong.
Yes, and we also get a first actually good look at the more than a flash and a glimpse. We see the little thing. It's kind of cute way it looks like that, flying in the petri dish.
It's like it's waving hello.
And she briefly looks away, and it's gone. And again, how does this work? How does it get out of the little container it was put in and out of the microscope? Yes. And how does it suddenly grow? The biomass, where does it all come from? Because it's like suddenly quite big.
Yeah. This is something that always bothered me every time it happens, and no one ever deals with it in any story that I've ever seen written where an organism just mysteriously grows without consuming an equivalent like mass. Like, I don't even necessarily have to worry that you can convert carbon into iron if that's how you want to do it. That's fine. But like weight for weight, it's kind of if you want to grow a kilo, what was it like? It's 10 to 1 in the food chain. Like a kilo of cow requires 10 kilos of grass. Roughly.
Sounds about right, yeah.
And a kilo of lion requires 10 kilos of cow.
Yeah.
Right, roughly in that scale for our food chains. We're not super efficient at converting.
A kilo of cheese requires 10 kilos of milk.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And, I would enjoy 10 kilos of excellent cheese. Now I think about it.
So that's 100 liters of milk then.
Might take me a while to get through it. Might take me a while, but I've got...
Aged cheese is nice,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you can start eating it when it's young, and then
oh, whoa.
As time progresses, like your cheese matures.
Jesus.
I'm coming, Neelix.
Sorry. There's a price I have to pay for using these sound effects because I have them favorited, but every time that I favorite them and I flip back, then I sort of lose my place. So how about you tell us where we are now, and I'll try and catch up.
Things deteriorate.
Oh no!
Rapidly.
I wish they wouldn't.
The thing in sickbay that escaped has been contained in a force field around the microscope.
Oh yes.
Until
a microscopic force field.
Well, yes. It's quite macroscopic, I would say, actually. But the doctor has the antigen ready, so he disables the force field. The virus immediately attacks him. He injects it with the antigen, and it kills the virus, the viroid.
How it works?
No, well,
no, it's not. It's not.
I say we inject the warthog.
Antigens stimulate immune response from your own immune system.
Oh yes, good point. Yes,
a synthetic antigen is ideally something that resembles the virus and therefore triggers an immune response or trains an immune response. T cells and repertoires and all that. Wonderful scientific gunk. But yes, now apparently it's a serum that you can inject directly into this flying macrovirus and it kills him. Which I don't care.
The doctor starts to go to. He goes back to the mess and starts to make the rounds going around the various people to inject them. However, apparently the viri are very hot for the doctor's holo emitter.
Yeah!
And they make it impossible for him to actually fulfill his mission. He has to retreat back to sickbay. And we get back to where the doctor and Janeway are talking.
This antigen, can it be distributed in a gaseous form?
For absorption via the respiratory system, I've already considered dispensing it through environmental controls, but they're offline, and I have limited engineering expertise.
Leave that to me.
Because, the Doctor has thought of this,
yes,
but he's not able to,
he's
he's
not very technical. His technical skills are a little underwhelming, and he and the Doctor go on their separate ways. They split up to increase their chances. There's a quick little babble about like how she to go through the ship, take Jeffrey's Tube 11, go down to deck 4, walk all the way around the corridor.
Do you want to hear it?
Go on then.
Jeffrey's Tube 11. Take a left to section 31 and straight down past the tractor beam emitter until you hit deck 10. Get out of section 3 and follow the corridor all the way around until
I hit the shuttle bay. Then I crawl through access port 9, go past 3 airlocks, and then 2 decks down, environmental controls at the end of the hall. Now I remember. Who designed this ship anyway?
I love the yes. I love the little thing that goes on ahead of that when he starts with like, how do I get there from here? And she goes like, Jeffrey's Tube 11. Like her little gesture and her kind of like favorite that one for me, will you?
Yeah. Also, little nitpick that I learned on IMDb.
Yeah.
Which is the Doctor gives her advice to avoid the viruses.
Set your tricorder to emit a thermal scattering signal. It'll make it more difficult to target you.
Yes.
Which he himself doesn't use, despite the fact that he's clearly a virus magnet.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Okay. Wild speculation here, because I had a thought while you were talking about this, and I just want to throw it out here. I think that what could be happening is we know that holograms are just photons. They're just light. We know that the mobile emitter just emits photons. It's emitting light there. I think the mobile emitter is acting like a light bulb with like a moth to a light bulb or whatever, because of how the difference in how bugs and animals perceive things. There's no guarantee that any non-mammalian would see the Doctor as that. The Doctor could very well just look like flickering light to these things. We don't really know. That's kind of what I'm thinking here, is it's just seeing the light of the emitter, and that's why it's going after the emitter, because like, well, that's where the light's coming from, so go after that. That's what I'm thinking here.
Janeway does more tube crawling, and the next communication with the Doctor here has retreated into a shuttle because, again, too many viri are trying to attack him, and there's no way for him to get through.
Yep.
So it's all up to Janeway now.
I kind of dig how this episode is kind of about the Doctor trying new things.
Yeah.
And pretty much being overwhelmed. Like the first one, his first foray out, like he doesn't do it perfectly, but Command really appreciates him.
Mm-hmm.
And his next 2 forays out, like trying to save the people or trying to treat the people in the mess hall and trying to assist in the captain's mission, both of them he fails at and has to choose the better part of valor. And he doesn't feel terrible about it, nor should he.
No.
Because he gave it the old college try and he made a rational retreat, and nobody ever berates him for it. I think it's great.
Oh yeah, he does a great job. He does the best of his ability, and well, we all know that not things always go as we like them to, especially in this world, because while the captain is in environmental controls, suddenly the ship is under attack. The tac-tacs are coming to purify. It's cocky.
What?
No, it's great.
It's right there.
It's great.
This is a floor level comedy.
It's the tac-tac.
We're under a tac-tac.
But he's like I love his mimicry. He's standing there with his hands crossed in front of his chest, wiggling his fingers a little bit, staring up at the ceiling.
He's like Elvira, like declaring what your fate will be.
But completely being like, a little bit passive-aggressive even about it, yeah.
Bulgarian mining colony infected. We purified them. Your distress call received. Voyager infected. We are purifying you.
I mean, yeah, that's local policy.
She talks him into giving them 1 hour. Or, well, she talks him into giving them a little bit of respite, because we have the cure, and they get 1 hour to fix it. However, environmental controls has been damaged by the last torpedo, and we only have one option left.
Yeah. Now, I think maybe...
I say we eject the warp. Wow, you are on a roll today.
Yeah. Okay, only because it's so specific. The Doctor is sitting where?
In a shuttle.
And shuttles have independent transporter systems.
Yes. Oh yeah, she could have just he could have just beamed her.
Beamed her anywhere, beamed himself anywhere. But if he did that, then we wouldn't get this wonderful scene where they need...
Right now, you and I are the only targets left on board. What if we gave them something new to sink their teeth into?
What are you suggesting?
And they turn on fucking Space Cabo.
It's Ryza, I think.
All
They're running
these...
holodeck program Ryza 14, where people are enjoying their way out. They're having their margaritas and
Everyone's
their other
shirtless,
drinks.
super hot. They're in swimsuits.
And suddenly, yes, the
bikini models are in heels.
yes. And suddenly the no, alien attack. The virus goes swarming in. She programs the holograms to actually respond like the humans do. To the attack, and it's just it's like one of those classic scenes where the raptors are let loose on the kindergarten or whatever. The
pterodactyls on the Margaritaville.
Right, yes, that's the one.
And you've got
Jurassic Park.
In Jurassic World, you've got this world's best dad-looking dude with a sun hat and a Hawaiian shirt running away from these pterodactyls.
2 cocktails,
holding 2 margaritas, trying not to spill them
because they're $14 margaritas.
And in the same vein, in this shot titled Screaming, which is a GIF that I've had favorited since we started this program, you have this group of mixed gender sluts trying to dodge away from the viruses flying overhead. And the women are all in heels, so they actually have a real struggle getting away, and the men are sort of trying to muscle their way between them. It's amazing.
But yes, using this opportunity to, now that they have them lured all into the holodeck, the captain has made herself a little antigen bomb.
I put together what you might call an antigen bomb. Now all I have to do is drop it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly why or but whatever. She just put a bunch of the gunk in one of the photon grenades.
I think the idea is to, just have the grenade do enough damage to the viri that the cloud of antigen stuff gets into them and kills them.
Yeah,
that seems to be.
She sets the timer, but before she can throw it, oh no!
She is being attacked. Also, why would a hand grenade with a 30-second timer is very generous.
She wants to get away.
Sure, but so she gets one more virus attack, which actually knifes. It's a good little knife battle going on there between the virus with its stabber, trying to get her, and she drawing out her Rambo knife and.
Yes, because she put a knife in her belt.
Yes, it was a very Commando-esque scene that when she was doing her loadout.
But a knife is such a great idea. A knife is useful for so many things.
Oh yes, she could have even used it to pry the doors open.
She got a better tool for that.
True.
A knife is good for a lot of things, but if you have a better tool, use a better tool. But so this was one of the first interactions between a CGI element and a live action actor on Star Trek. This is one of the experiments. And I remember reading that the VFX crew, they were a little disappointed with how it turned out.
Yeah.
They thought that the director did a really good job preparing for it and allowing for the match moves, but they thought it could have been a lot. They could have done better, but the producers thought otherwise. They thought it was great, and it is. Aside from one shot where Janeway's on her back and the virus is overhead, and she's sort of holding her hands up and sort of doing patty cake.
Yes.
The rest, it really looks like she's actually interacting with it. Also, because the director put a big blue foam ball on a stick for her to stab.
That's a great way to do it. She grabs it by the tentacle, chops it off, and then stabs it. Yep. And with 7 seconds to go, tosses the grenade onto the holodeck and makes a run for it.
There's a big green fireball, and the Doctor, who, despite the fact that all the viri have been lured away, is still cowering in the shuttle.
Yes, he's a little bit, cautious, what do you want to call it? But fortunately, the TAC-TACs are now convinced, yes, your vessel purified.
He's...
Astonishment.
I love that. It's just expressing what you're feeling, and he's got all his gestures again.
Of course. Purification will cease. My word.
As it kind of makes it just like he's putting a shawl on or something like that. And the next one is the head toss, good health, head toss, hair toss. And it's a bit of a weird ending because it really fizzes out the episode at this point.
Yeah. Because now Janeway's in her office painting, listening to jazz flute.
Yep. Whereas Chakotay comes to give her a little status report for how it's going with the repairs and how the crew and everybody gets extra R&R.
Hey, really good.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Except for Chakotay, who has to now work out a new duty roster.
Yes.
Sucks for you, Chakotay.
Gets him to do something, and it's just
Speaking of R&R, a few of us are going skiing on the holodeck. The Qatarian glaciers. Fresh air, good workout. Care to join us?
No, thank you, but have fun.
Not your cup of tea.
While she's drinking
a cup of tea.
Yes, that's not coffee. That's a teacup.
True, yeah.
Oh, was this during her phase where she was going?
Oh.
No. That came much later. Anyway.
Oh, Cocky, you had to alert my brain and have me wondering about the stuffs because we've seen this teacup already by this point because it was a main plot point in the season 2 episode, Persistence of Vision. It showed up in the next season, Year of Hell Part 1, as well as Hunters. We've seen her drink coffee specifically out of this. It may be a teacup, but she drinks coffee out of it, so maybe she's just using it for some espresso and just kind of like for a little stronger stuff. I don't know. I don't care. All I have to say is, Cocky, you're a little bit wrong there. It may be a teacup, but she's known to drink coffee out of it.
She says,
I've had enough of a workout for the time being.
And it's kind of like...
And that's it.
It sounds like it sounds like a joke, yeah, but it's... Yeah, no idea.
That's how television was at the time.
Yeah, because a lot of times, I mean, especially the animated series, they always have to go out. They always have to go out on a gag, you know.
Yeah.
No matter how bad it is, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like they were trying to do that, but it's not even funny. Or
I mean, but it's right up there with at the end of also another Sleeveless Captain episode, Die Hard in Space.
Yeah.
What was it called again?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Surprised you can't remember the name of this episode because it's TNG Starship Mine.
Thank you.
That just ended on Worf going, of course.
Yes.
Which is sort of a horse, of course joke, but like it's not like
no.
It's there. It's not a joke. It's there. It's something. But,
oh well.
Yeah. Anyway, that was Macrocosm.
It was. What an episode.
Whoa. Okay, that's such a savage put down. Hey, thanks once again to Alex. Hey, it's always so nice to hear from new viewers,
yes,
or new listeners, or whatever our beloved following.
Yeah.
No. Lemon stealing horse are our Patreon.
Sorry, yes.
Which, if this episode has convinced you, you know what these guys need? Money. Yeah, actually, yeah, that would have really. That would go down real smooth with all this technology that we're struggling with. If you want to help keep the lights on at Joy of Trek Studios, you can find us at joyoftrek.com/links, where you can find the Patreon link. Also, of course, patreon.com/joyoftrek. But there you can also, the other one that I said, the first one that I said, joyoftrek.com/links, you can find the submission form. So you can also send in recommendations for an episode that you really, really like. We like, especially like personal perspectives and you know the thing. Okay, how did we say it?
Oh, the episode, like send us a recommendation for an episode and tell us why you love it more than anybody else.
That's the one. But we just want to hear people's favorite episodes of Star Trek as well. Where was I?
Play the soundbite. No, the soundbite.
Play. Okay.
I'm coming, Neelix.
Not the one I was thinking.
Okay, should that be?
Well, it's like so fucking cool, you know. It's like coming. It's like
okay. So who did you think was
so fucking cool?
I think the Tac was like I loved his.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
I loved this that kind of like the posing, the mimicry and
mimicry is
right. Right. The
mime, I guess.
Miming, yes.
Gestures.
But yes, I love how he's like standing and posing and like very dance moves almost or
voguing,
posing,
right?
Yeah.
I love it.
So yes, for me it was the Tac.
Oh, it's got to be Janeway. It's like Kate Mulgrew specifically.
Yes,
because like she's a fit woman, but like as she's pointed out, the sort of level of athleticism and like physical prowess is not usually her go-to as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
But she played with such commitment. There was loads of scenes where she was the only person in frame, and she was consistently interesting to look at.
Oh, yes.
And engaged with her environment, which is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, especially the first half of the episode until they started with the flashbacks. I was thinking, okay, this is just going to be a Janeway episode. They sent everybody else out to have a party or film something else, and they just like filmed it with Janeway on the otherwise empty set. You know,
everybody was out with the on the space cabo with the hollow sluts.
Exactly.
No, it would have been great. No, I think Kate Mulgrew really, really, like, she can carry an episode all on her own, no problem.
Yes.
And even under some time pressure, like this, for various reasons, it had to be done in 6 days instead of 7, so it was pretty compressed, and I think they did a really excellent job.
Absolutely.
Captain's log, supplemental.
Now, what about those deleted scenes that you imagine
Well,
there might have been.
That's not too hard. It's just actually after they go into environmental controls and they turn out that the Tac-Tac torpedo has destroyed their ability to distribute the
antigen.
The antigen, thank you.
The cure.
The cure throughout the air venting system. Captain Janeway realized that there's another ship-wide distribution system in place which can be easily used for this, and she just has to replace a workahol canister with the...
Yes. But unfortunately, on Voyager, the workahol canisters are welded open and cannot be replaced because that's the one system, like gravity, air, all that's fine. But if the workahol ever runs out and people realize, what the fuck are we doing? The ship will instantly, it will just sort of collapse. Oh, mine's going to be the alternate cut where this was originally a two-parter.
Yeah.
Because at the very end, after they've successfully cured Voyager and she's made contact with the Tac-Tac, who says,
purification will cease.
Then in the original cut, he turns off the screen and she puts her hands on her hip again.
Oh.
And then she realizes, I
shit.
shouldn't have done that. And then in this alternate cut, he would have seen that, and this episode would have essentially started over again, or would have a second component where now they have to battle their way through the Tac-Tac, war fleet, negotiating with the Garans, the miners, or whatever remnant of their civilization exists for this cure that they have. So it becomes a bit of a bigger thing.
Okay, so it's kind of like the android is trying to smuggle the macrovirus back on board to.
It's an Alien Prometheus reference there, I see. Yeah, very nice.
Exactly.
We've got Alien Romulus coming up, or having recently or a while ago come out, depending on when this airs. I don't know how that works.
No, I have no clue, to be honest.
Wait, you don't know about Alien Romulus?
No.
It's a new Alien film coming out.
Okay. No, I hadn't heard yet.
Standalone, unrelated, or whatever. I've looked up nothing. I'm looking forward to having the... Oh, I was going to say having the pants scared off me, but no, the sleeves scared off me, just like Ellen Ripley and Captain Janeway.
Thank you for that totally planned and not at all coincidental segue, Cocky. This year, for the 5th year, I will be raising money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I do this every single year, and this year I'm doing so by streaming Alien Isolation, and I am very easily scared by horror games, so this is going to be an adventure to watch me just be absolutely terrified. If you're at all interested in watching the stream or able to donate at all, the description will have a link to my Tiltify page. The stream will be next week, September 28th at noon Pacific time.
Now, let's find out.
Next time on an all-new episode of Star Trek.
Hey, Kay, you know how ordinarily we'd have to guess what episode the Chief had picked out for us?
And it's a fun little game for us in the audience to play it together? Yeah, of course.
Well, the Chief made a little whoopsie, and will be dealt with accordingly, but we kind of already watched the episode because the clues he gave us were for the wrong episode.
Oh, dear. The Chief is lucky this isn't a Klingon ship.
Yeah, he really is. So, why don't we pretend we haven't already watched the episode and listen to the clues the Chief has for our audience?
I don't know. Is this going to be part of the court-martial?
He'll be demoted to ensign, but still become lieutenant again before Harry Kim gets his first promotion. Fucking owned.
All right.
I
So
resent this.
Yeah. So, will the witness please step in front of the gate and test?
He's death, anti-life. He lives to destroy.
Oh. I've actually forgotten which episode this was for.
I have too. This game is actually working great. He lives to destroy.
Oh, anti-life. Oh, no. Honestly, could be anything.
It could be anything. The time vortex is working in our favor. We thought we'd have to fake our way through this, but I don't actually fucking remember. All right, Chief, what's our next clue? What's our next? No. Hold on, that's not how it works.
Okay.
My transgression doesn't excuse yours.
2 wrongs and one make one right, or something like that.
He'll kill us all if we don't kill him first. Kill.
So, I'm sorry, I was just thinking of Doctor Strange, which had 2 Benedicts, 1 Wong and 1 White.
Oh, God.
Ah!
He'll kill us all if we don't kill him first. Kill. Nope.
Oh, I have an idea.
Okay. Probably original series, but...
Really? What made you think original series?
I don't know. It seems like one of those Oh, I think I remember now where we're talking, which episode it was, because it was out-hamming something, so I'm starting to remember what it was like. Yeah, go on then,
Yeah, but
Greg.
you can't remember the title, can you?
No, of course not.
I failed to comprehend your indignation, sir. I've simply made the logical deduction that you are a liar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah, so
That's
this
Spock, yeah. So it's original series, and it's the episode where the dude like really hams it up more than Kirk did. So
Kirk does.
It's starting to come back to me, yes.
And I really sort of dislike this. Oh, but I just made the logical deduction. No, hold on. You selected something to say.
Yes.
Right? There's a whole lot that you could have deduced, but you just decided to do this one.
All right. Okay, next one.
I also still can't remember the title.
No.
You'll be trapped inside that corridor with him forever, at each other's throats throughout time.
Yes. It's the time corridor one.
Barnabas, or was it Barnabas? No, that's your cat's name.
But I really still don't know the
Barnabas
name of
Denzel
the episode.
1.
It's the time.
It's the time
vortex one.
The alternative factor.
The alternative,
that one's coming to me.
Good
but
one.
Is it Barnabas?
Bartleby. No, that's another
Bartleby?
one.
That's a different one still.
Yes.
Listen, Barnaby.
All right, so.
Okay, what is it? No, Greg, you get to do this.
Oh, yeah. The episode is the original series 120, The Alternative Factor. Can I be released from my cell now?
Yeah,
no,
I think
Greg.
Well, at least you're not stuck in an eternal corridor. So.
Oh, good save, buddy.
All right, and then
did I say bruddy? Because I got
bruddy, bruddy,
I wanted to say like brother or buddy, but
brother.
Well,
hit it on.
Hit it on.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and I guess we need to edge our way out of this episode again.
The hell is this?
I'm leaving Starfleet.
Okay.
Energize!
This time.
Yay!
We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode with your friends Kay and Kaki, production and editing by our chief engineer Greg, and music by Fox Amore. Join us next time for The Alternative Factor, the original series 120. Visit joyoftrek.com/links to send us your recommendations, support us on Patreon, or to find us on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to The Joy of Trek, and we'll see you out there.